In December 2025, the critically acclaimed video game Clair Obscur Expedition 33 was disqualified from several awards at the Indie Game Awards on the basis that the devs admitted to using generative AI early on in the development process. Now, they've since patched out the assets in question, so the final product can technically be considered AI-free, but I think this story raises some interesting questions about where the line should be drawn when it comes to AI influence in our lives. Can the presence of AI-generated assets be ignored if they are Ship of Theseus out of the final product? Now, I'm going to do something that's probably not particularly advisable to do on this platform and admit that my approach to this issue is not entirely rational. To me, the presence of AI in a given work renders it, at least in part, and for want of a better word, spiritually impure. It makes me question my own relationship to truth and authenticity in my artistic practice. I think given what I have to say on this technology, you'd think I fit firmly into the anti-AI camp, and this is true now, but it wasn't always the case. Early on in this whole AI debacle, around the time ChatGPT first released and was still an interesting novelty, I was having trouble completing a lyric for a song I was writing and decided to try using it to fill in the blanks. And what it produced was passable. It worked in terms of meter and theme and so on, but I remember immediately feeling utterly unfulfilled by the process, as though I had cheated, as though I had papered over a hole in my abilities as a songwriter, and by extension my ability to express myself as a human being. Now, the song in question isn't out yet, and won't be for a good long while, and the final lyrics feature no AI-generated content whatsoever, but I think it's impossible for me to claim that AI had no influence on the final product. For one thing, it ruled out a turn of phrase that I may well have come up with myself had I taken the time to think about the problem rather than outsourcing it to an LLM. Whether I like it or not, the only thing I have control over now is not making the same mistake in future. In the case of Clair Obscur, it doesn't seem like the presence of AI degraded the quality of the final product. I haven't played it myself yet, but from everything I've heard it's a fantastic piece of media, and I'm always reticent to throw out the baby with the bathwater, because I think good media existing is a generally positive thing. However, I do think it's good that it was disqualified from the award because I think as human artists, we kind of have a moral duty to make AI usage uncool, something that comes at a social cost so high that they might as well have just paid humans to do the work. But in the gaming space in particular, I think those of us in the anti-AI camp, such as myself, need to be realistic about the fact that this is a fight we are probably going to lose. Like, we saw this with microtransactions back in the day. I am old enough to remember when Bethesda charging for horse armor in Oblivion was seen as an outrage, but these days if you talk to a kid that was raised on Fortnite, they see microtransactions and gambling mechanics as a fact of life because they've never known a world without it. And I suspect a similar thing is going to happen with AI. Major studios will use it and weather the backlash because they're playing the long game. They're counting on the next generation of gamers to see AI as something inevitable, and frankly I don't know how we combat that as consumers. It's a fight we've lost many times before and seem poised to lose again.